Hello there, I'm Nadia Azmi and this is Nightline. Here are the top stories. Historic day as nation readies for installation of 17th Yang di-Pertuan Agong. And global cyber outage causes major disruptions across multiple sectors. Good morning. A massive technology outage has disrupted businesses and institutions in multiple countries on Friday, with airlines halting flights, some broadcasters off air, and services from banking to healthcare hit by system problems. While major U.S. airlines grounded flights, other carriers and airports around the world reported delays and disruptions early on Friday. Airports in Singapore, Hong Kong and India said the outage meant some airlines need to check in passengers manually. Meanwhile, banks and financial services firms from Australia to India and Germany warned customers of disruptions, with traders across markets reported problems of executing transactions. The tech crisis also caused many Woolworths supermarkets checkout machines to fail and unable to process transactions. In Britain, one of the country's major television news channels, Sky News, has been hit by a major broadcast failure that made them unable to broadcast live. While there were reports of companies gradually restoring their services, analysts weighed the potential of what one called the biggest ever outage in the industry and the broader economy. In the meantime, cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike said the company has identified the update that crashed Windows systems around the globe and that a fix has been deployed. It stated the firm is actively working with customers impacted by a defect found in a single content update for Windows hosts, stressing that it was not a security incident or cyber attack. CrowdStrike previously admitted that a defect in a software update has caused the IT outage, currently wreaking havoc worldwide. According to an alert sent by CrowdStrike to its clients, the company's Falcon sensor software is causing Microsoft Windows to crash and display a blue screen, known informally as the blue screen of death. Microsoft separately said it had fixed the underlying cause for the outage of its 365 applications and services, but added that residual impact was affecting some services. Meanwhile, millions of travelers stranded at airports around the globe expressed their dissatisfaction with the flight delays and their impact on them.
ก็มีความกังวลทั้งในส่วนที่การดีเลย์ของไฟลท์ส่วนของผู้โดยสารที่จะมาตามเวลาปกติที่ไม่ได้เผื่อเวลาไว้ครับก็น่าจะได้รับผลกระทบจากเหตุการณ์ครั้งนี้พอสมควร
Alors, nous, ça fait déjà 15-20 minutes que nous attendons. Donc, et puis on se pose des questions à savoir est-ce qu'on va pouvoir embarquer. Parce que là, la queue n'a pas l'air d'avancer. Donc, on est un peu inquiet sur le déroulé de la journée.
Ich sehe nicht, ob hier irgendwas weitergeht. Ein bisschen schwierig.
Was passiert jetzt?
Ich hoffe, wir kommen bald weiter. Das ist ja die Hoffnung.
Back home, Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad MAHB said its services are not affected by the major IT outage, which has resulted in travel disruptions at several airports worldwide, including in Europe, the United States and Australia. MAHB, however, said some of its airline partners did experience disruptions due to the issue, causing severe airport congestion. In a notice to its customers, AirAsia said its reservation and check-in systems were impacted by the IT outages affecting airlines worldwide. As such, AirAsia passengers were expected to face slower check-ins and longer waiting times. The Malaysia Aviation Group, meanwhile, said Malaysia Airlines and Firefly flights were unaffected. However, Firefly's booking and online check-in systems have been impacted by the issue. Muslims across the nation are urged to uphold their loyalty to His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar to advance the country's governance and prosperity goals. This was the primary message delivered in Friday's sermon at mosques nationwide in anticipation of Sultan Ibrahim's upcoming installation as Malaysia's 17th Yang di-Pertuan Agong on Saturday. Earlier, the king joined over 1,000 worshippers to listen to the special Friday sermon. He was welcomed by Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil, who is also chairman of the Special Committee for the King's Installation Events, and Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Johari Abdul were also present to greet His Majesty. The sermon titled Raja Ditaati, Negara Dirahmati was delivered by the National Mosque Grand Imam Ihsan Muhammad Hosni. The installation of His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim as the 17th Yang di-Pertuan Agong is set to take place in a ceremony steeped in Royal Malay customs and tradition. To be held at the Balairung Sri of Istana Negara, the event will formally mark the beginning of the 5-year reign of Sultan Ibrahim as the head of state. Known for his outspokenness and tough stand against attempts to cause disunity among the people, the king is set to put the nation on the right footing towards greater prosperity for all. As Malaysia prepares to witness the installation, the nation reflects on the remarkable journey that has led the royals to this momentous occasion. Sultan Ibrahim, born on November 22, 1958 in Johor Bahru, is the eldest son of Almarhum Sultan Iskandar Ibni Almarhum Sultan Ismail and Almarhumah Encik Besar Haja Kalsum Abdullah. The Conference of Rulers elected him as the 17th Yang di-Pertuan Agong on October 27, 2023, replacing Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah of Pahang. The installation on Saturday will certainly be a very special moment for Sultan Ibrahim, as His Majesty will be going through a similar process that his father, the late Sultan Iskandar, went through when the late ruler ascended the federal throne as the 8th Yang di-Pertuan Agong 40 years ago.
Anda akan juga memegang jawatan yang pernah dipegang oleh Paduka Ayahanda sebagai Yang Tuan Agong. Tentulah ianya merupakan suatu peristiwa yang cukup bersejarah bagi baginda dan juga seluruh rakyat Malaysia.
In the meantime, the installation ceremony, dignified and resplendent, will have a unique charm thanks to the personal touches of the reigning Yang di-Pertuan Agong and Raja Permaisuri Agong Raja Zarid Sofia. Among the royal guests expected to attend the installation ceremony are Brunei ruler Sultan Hassan Al Bolkiah and the King of Bahrain, Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa.
Diving into the economic landscape of the Asia-Pacific region, exploring exciting opportunities for foreign investment in Malaysia, and the game-changing potential of Industry 4.0 technologies for local businesses. Money Matters with Ricardo Politi of the World Bank Group's International Finance Corporation, IFC, this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
The Conference of Rulers has given the green light to the latest Citizenship Amendments Bill presented by the Home Ministry on Thursday. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution said the approval would set the stage for parliamentary discussion in the upcoming budget session in October.
Kita dah pembentangkan semuanya kan, proses libat urus semua berjalan, tapi Majlis Raja-Raja titah menghadap. Tentu kita kena akur dan kita rasa lega, berlapang dada, berpeluang untuk menerangkan dan membuat pembentangan.
The amendments to the Constitution aim to tighten citizenship criteria while considering security and humanitarian aspects. The proposed changes include 7 amendments, 3 new provisions and 3 repeals addressing national security and sovereignty. On Thursday, Deputy Law and Institutional Reform Minister M. Kulasegaran said the second and third readings of the Citizenship Bill, along with 3 others, have been postponed to the next Dewan Rakyat meeting in October. Malaysia is focused on increasing palm oil production through modern strategies and technology without needing to expand plantation areas. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani assured that the country could meet its export commitments, particularly to India, which is Malaysia's primary palm oil importer. In a 2-day trip to New Delhi as the head of the Economic Mission Delegation for Agri-Commodity Products to India, Johari has attended the Global Roundtable Conference organised by the Indian Vegetable Oil Producers Association as the guest of honour. The minister utilised the forum to share Malaysia's strategies in facing the challenges of the global palm oil industry. He explained that the government's current focus is on intensifying replanting efforts, especially involving smallholders.
We must always put a lot of effort to increase the yield instead of increase the land usage. So by doing that, we will be able to save the world. we can do business, we can grow our economy without sacrificing, the environment.
Johari added stronger yields will also ensure that Malaysia remains one of the leading exporters of palm oil to India, expressing hope that Malaysia-India trade relations will continue to thrive, especially in the commodity sector.
We need to know exactly like India, for example. The agenda is to make sure that enough food to take care of 1.4 billion. Then how do you play your role in order to work and collaborate with India? And if you go to any other smaller countries, their requirements are different. So this is where we need to make sure we are very agile in our policies, and we must make sure that, at the end of the day, if you want to have a long-term relationship, it has to be a win-win situation.
Last year, Malaysia's exports of palm oil and related products to India reached 3.3 million metric tons. This accounted for 13% of Malaysia's total palm oil exports. While in New Delhi, Johari also held a meeting with India's Agriculture Minister, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, to explore collaboration opportunities in the field of agriculture and share Malaysia's expertise in palm oil cultivation. The search for evidence linked to the murder of Nur Farah Kartini Abdullah has been suspended on Friday. This was due to the murky water conditions at Sungai Trola in Kampung Batu Epat, Slim River, following rain on Friday morning. According to Hulu Selangor District Police Chief Superintendent Ahmad Faizal Tarim, the river's water level at the location had risen by more than 1 metre. After taking various factors under consideration, including the wooden debris in the waters and uncertain water levels, he said he was determined that the conditions were not safe for the dive team to carry on with the search. Early on Friday, 2 four-wheel drive vehicles carrying 10 personnel from the Police Subaquatic Forensics Investigation Unit arrived at the location at around 11:10 a.m. and were seen leaving the area after about an hour of observation. Sungai Trola is around 20 minutes away from the oil palm plantation near Kampung Sri Kledang, Hulu Selangor, which was the location of the previous police search that yielded a mobile phone believed to belong to the murder victim, while her handbag was discovered close to Sungai Trola. Nur Farah Kartini's body was found in the oil palm plantation at around 6 p.m. on Monday, 5 days after she was reported missing. A police lance corporal serving in Perak was arrested later the same day and is under remand until July 22nd to facilitate investigations under Section 302 of the Penal Code. Coming up, oil tank is on fire after massive collision. Stay tuned.
Saya yang akan bantu mengeluarkan saka itu.
Setiap pendamping yang diambil ada perjanjiannya.
Kalau sangat sembang, formula sana, formula sini, semua orang boleh.
Berus gigi pun kau bawa. Aku bukan nak uji DNA dia.
Harapan saya ni kalau boleh langsung Pontianak semua kembalilah ke bagai jalan.
POV cerita pilihan bulan Julai. Bila baru seminggu bercinta.
Saya nak bagi hati awak tu penuh dengan bunga-bunga cinta yang takkan layu sampai kita ke jannah.
Bila kena mengaji depan crush. Bila hari ni gaji, esok dah habis. Bila Aiman Tino join grup Marhaban. Bila TV3 suruh layan cerita pilihan dan stream sekarang melalui tonton, kita ons.
Diving into the economic landscape of the Asia-Pacific region, exploring exciting opportunities for foreign investment in Malaysia, and the game-changing potential of Industry 4.0 technologies for local businesses. Money Matters with Ricardo Politi of the World Bank Group's International Finance Corporation, IFC, this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Welcome back. 2 oil tankers caught fire off the coast of Singapore and Malaysia on Friday, with the Malaysian side describing the incident as a collision. According to authorities from both countries, the MT Hafnia Nile and MT Ceres 1 collided about 25 nautical miles northeast of Tanjung Balau at 6:55 a.m., causing both tankers to catch fire. Malaysia's Maritime Enforcement Agency (MMEA) reported that following the incident, a forward operating base was established at the Tanjung Sedili Maritime Zone jetty to coordinate the rescue efforts. Singapore's Maritime and Port Authority (MPA) stated that all 62 crew members on board have been accounted for from both tankers. MPA further said they were all receiving medical attention while on their way to shore. In the meantime, Malaysia's Department of Environment has also been informed about the incident for further action in case of an oil spill, while officers and personnel on duty at the Abu Bakar Maritime Base have also been instructed to monitor the surrounding areas. The International Court of Justice (ICJ) on Friday ruled that Israel's settlement policy in the occupied Palestinian territories is in fact a breach of international law. The president of the ICJ in The Hague, Nawaf Salam, read out a non-binding opinion issued which said that the Zionist regime was in breach of the 6th paragraph of Article 49 of the 4th Geneva Convention. Nawaf said that Israel has abused its status as the occupying power in the West Bank and East Jerusalem by carrying out policies of annexing territory, imposing permanent control and building settlements. The ruling, made by a panel of 15 judges from around the world, stated that such acts render Israel's presence in the occupied Palestinian territory unlawful and that its continued presence was illegal and should be ended as rapidly as possible. The World Court also concluded that the Zionist regime's practices and policies violate Palestinians' right to self-determination. United States President Joe Biden is facing renewed pressure to end his faltering re-election campaign after 2 more Democratic lawmakers joined calls for him to quit the race. Montana Senator John Tester on Thursday became the 2nd senator to urge Biden to step aside, just over a week after Vermont Senator Peter Welch did the same. Shortly after, California House Representative Jim Costa stated that Biden should pass the torch to the next generation to continue his legacy. These latest calls bring the total number of congressional Democrats publicly urging Biden to withdraw to 25. Many Democrats have expressed concern about Biden's ability to defeat his Republican challenger, Donald Trump, in November, amid concerns about the 81-year-old Democrat's physical and mental fitness. Biden, however, has repeatedly dismissed calls for him to step aside, insisting he is the most qualified person to beat Trump.
Because they know where my heart is. They know where my head is.
Bangladesh woke on Friday to survey the destruction left by the deadliest day of ongoing student protests so far, which saw government buildings torched by demonstrators and a nationwide internet blackout put into effect. According to a police statement, protesters had torched, vandalized and carried out destructive activities on numerous police and government offices. Among them was the Dhaka headquarters of the state broadcaster, Bangladesh Television, which remains offline after hundreds of inside students stormed the premises and set fire to the building. The statement also indicated that if the destruction continued, authorities would be forced to make maximum use of the law. This week's unrest has resulted in at least 39 deaths, including 32 on Thursday, with the toll expected to rise further after reports of clashes in nearly half of the country's 64 districts. National squad kick off ASEAN Under-19 campaign with cracking start. Sports when we come back.
Ramainya pelakon-pelakon hebat dalam cerita Rama TV3 Julai ini. Wah, Eto Kushairi jadi abang-abang gangster 6 Julai ni. Dalam telefilm pun Arif Bahran jadi penyanyi 13 Julai. Sedih pula watak Arif ni 20 Julai. Susah juga kalau kacak macam Han Hakim ni. 27 Julai. Cerita Rama TV3, satu destinasi untuk semua telefilm hebat kegemaran anda. Dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Kekal cakna, kekal sihat. Hello Doktor merungkai pelbagai persoalan kesihatan anda.
Penyakit kronik, pemakanan, kesihatan mental, semuanya demi kesejahteraan anda.
Setiap minggu bersama tenaga pakar kesihatan terbaik Malaysia, segalanya terjawab dalam Hello Doktor setiap Ahad
5.30 petang di TV3
dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Situasi semakin tegang.
Tolong sekarang ni kes dalam siasatan.
Medan operasi unit gerak khas kini berhadapan dengan cabaran tidak terduga.
Makin brutal suspek-suspek tu pun. Polis, gerak!
Gerak khas The Finale setiap Ahad 11.30 pagi di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports football, the 2024 ASEAN Under-19 Championship. The national Under-19 football team began their title defence in style by hammering Brunei 11-0 in the Group C clash on Friday. Juan Torres Garrido's team wasted no time, opening the scoring just 2 minutes into the game through G. Pavitrat. The onslaught continued with 5 more goals in the first half, establishing a commanding 6-0 lead by half-time. Brunei's day went from bad to worse in the second half when Izzat Muhammad Shahir Muhammad Zulishan converted from the spot to make it 7-0. The Malaysian team maintained their dominance with goals from Amir Farhad, Zamirul Hakim and Abid Safaraz before substitute Muhammad Shafizan Muhammad Arshad sealed the 11-0 rout. Malaysia will take on Singapore on Monday before completing their fixtures against Thailand. Now on to tennis, the 2024 Swedish Open. Rafael Nadal downed fifth-seeded Cameron Norrie in straight sets in their last 16 encounter on Thursday. The 22-time Grand Slam champion, who recovered from a fall in the second set, claimed a 6-4, 6-4 win to advance to just his second quarterfinal of the season. Nadal will next meet Argentine Mariano Navone after the fourth seed saw off Indian Sumit Nagal 6-4, 6-2. In another match, third-seeded Talon Grigspor fell at the first hurdle in the tournament, losing in 3 sets to Timofey Skatov, a player who currently sits 196 places below the Dutchman in the world rankings. Grigspor dominated the first set to take it 6-1, but Skatov eventually forced a 6-3, 6-4 win in the next 2 sets, edging out the Dutchman. Skatov's opponent in the last 8 will be Portuguese Nuno Borges. Still on tennis, the 2024 Hamburg Open. Defending champion Alexander Zverev kept his championship alive as he fought back from a set-down against Hugo Gaston to reach the quarterfinals on Friday. The top seed playing in his hometown came through a tough encounter to claim a 4-6, 6-2, 7-5 win over the Frenchman after 2 hours and 37 minutes on court. The world number 4 will next face Qin Chen Zhang of China in the last 8. Earlier, Holger Rune moved into the quarterfinals with a dominant 6-4, 6-3 win against Argentine Marco Trungelliti. The second seed did not face any hurdles as he completed his victory in just 1 hour and 19 minutes. He will face Arthur Fields of France, who beat Serbian Laszlo Djeri 7-6, 6-2. When we return, man charged with possessing terrorism-related materials. The details after this short break.
Pencalonan baru Music 39 minggu ini. Siapakah yang bakal menjadi carta Top 20 Music 39 minggu ini? Music 39 Ahad ini jam 12.20 tengah hari di TV3 dan stream secara langsung di aplikasi Tonton. Pertama kalinya berlaku di Acacia Voice Malaysia. Kita nak bantu Ayi. Jom kita panggil
Adira.
Satu kelainan.
Yang ramai kat sini pun tak berotak.
Satu kemeriahan.
Aku pilih.
Aku dah malah nak bergaduh.
Mata tak menipu.
Pum pum pum.
siapa datang, semua kau nak menggatal.
Saya dah cakap banyak kali dengan korang semua ni.
Menjanjikan kepuasan. Saksikan Ahad ini 9 malam di TV3.
Wanita hebat menyuntik inspirasi, cipta kejayaan dengan usaha sendiri.
Saya suka bercakap, saya boleh bercakap 8 jam non-stop. Kalau di tempat sistem tu tak kena, memang orang kata ADHD dia bermasalah. Tapi di tempat yang sesuai, diorang boleh thrive dalam hidup.
Fokus utama dalam dekor saya nampakkan tak clutter. Dekat tingkap ni ada long bench. So bila nak makan tu memang sedaplah mata memandang.
Nona di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. In Pulau Pinang, a restaurant worker was charged at the Butterworth Sessions Court for the possession of materials related to the IS terrorist group last month. 33-year-old Muhammad Zulkhairi Muhammad Nasir nodded after the charge was read before Judge Noor Aini Yusof, but no plea was recorded as the case is under the jurisdiction of the High Court. Muhammad Zulkhairi is accused of possessing materials related to the IS terrorist group on his mobile phone at a house in Sungai Dua on June 23rd. He's charged under Section 130JB, subsection 1A of the Penal Code, which provides for a maximum prison term of 7 years or a fine and mandates the forfeiture of any such materials upon conviction. The court transferred the case to the Kuala Lumpur High Court and scheduled August 19th for the next mention. In Selangor, police have seized 7.8 million ringgit worth of drugs, including 44 kilograms of ecstasy pills in multiple raids on Wednesday. According to Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department Director Datuk Kor Kok Chin, 6 individuals have been arrested. Kor said an operation took place at 5:50 p.m. at an apartment in Teluk Panglima Garang, where a drug runner was arrested. The operation at the apartment uncovered 44 kilograms of ecstasy pills and over 17,000 Aramin 5 pills weighing 3.55 kilograms stashed inside a car. It was believed that the syndicate's modus operandi was to store drugs in vehicles before distributing them.
So dalam kereta Nissan Tiana tersebut itu, lelaki B1 tu pandu arah ke sebuah ke rumah yang mana di tingkat rumah tersebut, pangsapuri tersebutlah. Pangsapuri tersebut, dan mana dalam rumah tersebut kita berjaya periksa dan menjumpai sabu 2 kg. Sabu 2 kg. Okey. Jadi untuk maklumat, kereta itu didaftar atas seorang lelaki India yang berumur 27 tahun.
Kor added that the estimated value of the drugs can amount to 7.8 million ringgit and can be distributed to 250,000 users. 5 other suspects, including the owner of the vehicle, were arrested at separate locations within Selangor. The police also confiscated assets worth over 530,000 ringgit, involving cash, 27 pieces of jewellery and 9 vehicles. All suspects are remanded until July 22nd to assist in investigations. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look at a grand exhibition on the ancient Egyptian civilization in Shanghai, the largest of its kind held outside Egypt over the past 20 years. A total of 788 artifacts from Egypt, along with ancient Chinese artifacts, are on display, offering visitors an artistic feast from the two ancient civilizations. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for tuning in and have a great weekend.